Hey guys, Jason here with a word to the wise. I have been putting up a fence all weekend. I'm a little exhausted, bear with me. I think it was Friday, I was listening to someone speaking, and they were talking about the image of the beast. And I don't know what it was, but something kind of hit me in a way just hearing the words and the image. You bear the image. So in I think it's 1 Corinthians 15, we bear the image, or we born the image of the earthly, and we will bear the image of the heavenly. We shall bear the image. So it's paraphrasing. So the image of the beast. Now you can look in the Greek original, and it's only used about 10 times, and it's like Strong's 1504, and it's the likeness. And we look at all these things that are kind of happening in the world right now with rebellion, building. You know, not that we are ready to rebel, but the world is ready to rebel. You know, you have all this dividing of sides. One side calling for more totalitarianism, and the other side calling for rebellion. Now, if you bear the likeness of the beast, you know, the worshiping of the likeness, the rebellion, the likeness of what he did in his time in the heavenly realm, and he became rebellious. And you can start looking at rebellion in, if you go to BibleStudyTools.com and you just type in like rebellion, rebellious, rebelling, you know, all these different rebelling style words, you can click on, I think it's, but you can click on, there's a button there to hone in on every single book and how many times it's used in every single book. And I think it's like Ezekiel 20 had a good one where it was speaking about, I think it's Israel's continuing rebellion against God. And so it's kind of an interesting thing to see, you know, the image. Is it really going to be an image of a false god, or is it bearing the image of what he did? And in the people are bearing his image, and they're worshiping the image, but they're, you know, are they going along? That's mainly what it is. If you're worshiping, you're agreeing, you're into it, you know, so I'm not saying that this is it. I'm not saying this is final in any way, but it's just an interesting way to look at it, the likeness of the image of the beast. What the beast did, he rebelled. So they bear an image to him, and that's what the world is getting ready to do, is rebel. And of course, if you put down exactly word for word of exactly what's supposed to happen versus that metaphorical style that it's written in, Revelations, well then, why would the devil say, well then I can just change what I was going to do and I'll do it this way? You know, because if I go through and I do FEMA camps and I imprison everybody, and then all of a sudden it looks a little too obvious, and then everybody's going to say, well, look, now the Bible proves to be real. But there again, there's a spiritual side that we are seeing in our show. And just tie in a couple little extra things on the end here. I have a thing I do on Thursdays with my family, and I have to go, and I have to sit in a lobby. You know, you still got to wear masks, and I'm there with all these other parents, and there's only like one parent per household allowed, so I sit there kind of off to the side, and I just keep looking at, you know, the Bible verses and, you know, YouTube videos and things like that. And I had to listen to these other parents talking about how somebody was saying that they shouldn't be having to wear masks the kids shouldn't have to wear a mask while they're playing soccer. And those other parents, there were some others off to another side. They weren't in this circle, but the ones that were in this circle were just going after this lady in such a crude, nasty manner. And if they weren't talking about that, they're all talking about how they're all trying to get all their things done, their scientific things, the bee thing. And they're talking, oh, I'm so glad that I got this person to get it, and this person finally got theirs, and then this person, they're gone their first or their second, and on and on and on. It's just, and it just kind of watching them going in these social media sites, and they were just hammering all of them. We're all doing the same thing. They're all going after this one lady, and even the one wanted to say, oh, I just want to just tear her up for that ridiculous haircut. And then one of them's like, oh, well, she just got over cancer, so don't say anything about her haircut. And it's like, wow, but see, you have no idea what you're talking about or what you're doing, but you are just willing to just go and say all these nasty things on the school's Facebook page. And that's just a nutshell of, I had to sit there and I'm so happy that I got an option out at 10 minutes early, and as soon as I got that option out, I got up out of the middle of those people and the parents in that room, and I stormed out the door. And the frustrating thing is that you can't, what are you going to tell somebody about the dangers of the vaccine once they get it? It's too late. And I'm not saying that it is the full end, Mark style thing, but at the same time, I'm trying to be, not watch what I'm saying here, but if, it's not going to do anybody any good, because if they're attacking somebody like that, it doesn't matter what I say to them. They've already made up their minds, and they might be kind of, embarrassed or shy or whatever, but at the same time, they got numbers, so they could sit there and just hound into me, and I would do nothing but get defensive, and I would try to speak to them, but they wouldn't want to hear it, because it's all about the morality of everything that's going on that you have to be on board with, or else. Now, there might be a time where all this gets turned over and then it goes into this whole real antichrist, surfacing that tears down all these walls that we are up against right now. But we are in between the right and the left. It's a very tough spot for us to be in. And, we work in faith, but we're trying to show as many people, like I'm trying to show you guys, and then you guys can take this little nuggets of knowledge or any kind of thing that you can, glean from anything I say, and then you at least have it in your pocket. And you can say something to somebody else and say, well, I can show you this one video where this person talks about this, and he shows an article, and they point to this, and it all comes very clear if you watch this and you understand more. And the world, I heard Many Fish, a channel on YouTube, say it. We're at that time almost where the world's not supposed to understand. It's not too late, but it's not for them to understand. If they want to hear it, they hear it. If they don't want to hear it, then it's not for them. I've tried to explain things. I've tried to show literally word for word videos, and they say, no, that's not what they're saying. It's like, this is out of the horse's mouth, literally. And if you don't want to take any part of it, like, it all might be a deception. Everything that we are dealing with right now might just be a big false deception. And I think On Point Preparedness, if you guys don't know him, anything he puts out is amazing. And he has a Rumble account, and you can watch those videos also. But he is the most grounded, discerning person, I think, on the planet right now, but he's expecting a rebellion and something else to come. But at the same time, if that never happens, and I'm not saying that it won't, but if it doesn't ever happen, then it's like a false apocalyptic thing that they're trying to show, so that way they get everybody to get drawn into all this, like we are, but we're just trying to be watchful. But then all this is just all being propped up as fake, so they can see and they can and figure out when the right time is to change it, and then everybody can go, oh wow, so this is it all stopped. Trump came and saved the day and the earth and the planet, and now we can all start worrying about global warming and saving, third world countries or something. And that might be the beast system. So there's a whole mix of crazy things that could happen. But if it doesn't, the path that we are on right now is a perfect path to go with. They could sit there and say, like they've said for years and years and years about all these things. War's on the horizon. There could be a nuclear outbreak finally that, finally gets everybody on board on the planet to pull together. That might be. But at the same time, if it doesn't happen and they just keep drawing everybody blindly down this road while they're expecting for things to happen so they can say we are in now we see we're in the tribulation. But at the same time, if that doesn't happen, no, you could be in the tribulation and not realize it because they don't want to show it to you. Because what they are working with right now is better, and it's working. The people are going out there and getting all their little things done up, the scientific thing. They're going to drop cement off at Home Depot. I might cut this off and then continue on. But another thing I wanted to point out is, they want to climb up another way. They want to go a different route. They want, a different, better way other than Jesus. They want to find their own way. But Jesus is the only way. So look at the Freemasons and their pillars that are part of their symbology of, Boaz and Jachin. Now, if you start doing word name searches in the Bible, in Ruth, because I was listening to Ruth the other day, and all of a sudden, Ruth, I think, is purchased by Boaz. And it ties into, because I think he even chips in his sandals as part of the purchase. And when you look at Amos 8, it talks about, you'll buy the poor for a pair of sandals. And so that's Boaz. And when you look at Boaz and when they do those genealogies in like Matthew 1, or else even in Ruth chapter 4, the last part of it, the last paragraph is that they're talking about how they talks about the genealogies, but I think Boaz is Jesse's grandfather, and Isaiah. It has I think it's Isaiah 11 talks about the root of Jesse, and which is talking about Jesus. But Jesse, I believe, is the father of David. So Jesse to David to, onward down the line to with Solomon. Solomon, his son, Solomon's temple, where the two pillars were. And Jachin is the other pillar that's in those Freemason temple pictures. And so it's Jachin and Boaz, and Jachin is, I believe, one of the sons of Aaron. So you have, a tie to Moses. In Moses' time, Moses' law, I think Aaron was the one that carried them into the promised land, because Moses could not cross I think it was the Jordan. And so you have deliverance into the promised land through one of Aaron's sons, Jachin, and then you have the root of Jesse, part of the family, heritage, the root of Jesus goes into Boaz, the other pillar, which I wonder if that is the whole thing that ties into this whole Freemasonic thing, which they're trying to do, in that they've gotten, Lucifer somehow tied them into all this, so they just cultishly done all this to themselves. I don't know how that all works, but I'll cut this off at that. But yeah, when you start looking at the image and you start thinking about it in a different spiritual way, what is a spiritual image? And you look at 1 Corinthians, like I said in the beginning, I'll show here, is the heavenly image, and it's the likeness of Jesus, right? And so we bear the image of the earthly, but now once we go into the spiritual, we bear the image of the heavenly. But we're not taking an image of Jesus and putting it on a poster and saying, well, this is what we have to worship. No, because we worship in spirit. So I'll cut this off. I've said that a couple times, so God bless, guys. It's Sunday. I got a lot of running around. I got to go to the grocery store. My wife wants me to grab a bag or two of rocks, which I don't want to do. So God bless, guys. Have a good weekend. I'm gonna run inside.